Now, I have this theory, and I believe the world of Japanese green tea needs a new category of professionals. Mind you, this world of Japanese green tea, which I'm in right now, has existed for centuries. So you may be thinking, why now? And why not before? Or why not after? Let's get into it. As you can see, let's start from the basics. My name is Kyoto, and I recently started a Japanese green tea business here in Italy with a tea master and producer from Kagoshima called Kenta Ikeda. So, as you can imagine, I've been studying this world for a couple of years now, and mainly focusing on how I can best translate the charisma, the appeal, the incredible, beautiful world of Japanese green tea to the Western culture. And right now, it's all matcha. It's all this. It's all the craze. Matcha lattes, matcha everything. And it's thanks to our American buddies. So what our friends from the other side of the ocean have achieved is to make matcha incredibly popular also now in Europe. And they have succeeded in putting this great spotlight, which already was on Japanese culture because tourism in Japan has already been an incredibly popular thing. But now with matcha exploding, everybody seems to be wanting this. The question is, however, because it's American-led, it has some certain characteristics to it. It's based on speed and sweetness. And after the pandemic, actually, the world has also started to reappreciate a bit of calm, a bit of personal space, a bit of relaxation, and a bit of nature as well. And Japanese green tea, actually, in its heritage and its philosophy and what it stands for, has basically all of this. So why hasn't it become more popular? And that's an interesting question. So, I'm not sure how aware you may be of the Japanese green tea world, but the Japanese green tea world has a unique category of professional called tea masters. And they are very much like, let's say, wine sommeliers. They study the ingredient to the roots, to the cultivation, to pretty much until its final stages of production, so they can educate and eventually identify and craft their own highest quality level tea. They also are very experienced in technique, so you can imagine they're very good in rituals and all the ceremonial aspects of it. So you may be wondering, why aren't these tea masters the ones who can bring this change and make the whole of the Japanese green world popular? Now, the tea masters are actually, as a matter of fact, the best person. They would be the best people to expand this culture. But when you look closely, very few of them speak English, and very few of them have free time to be dedicating outside, and they're very much focused in their craft, like many Japanese masters are, in their own individual right. They're super vertical and super focused in making the best tea they can. Furthermore, there's another dynamic. I don't think there are many food cultures such as Japanese green tea, which are so rich in their heritage, with rituals, philosophies, practices, and so many in-depth, ingrained aesthetics, which need to be learned, studied, understood, to then be explained, reinterpreted, and showcased. Maybe just the wine industry comes to mind. The wine industry is very similar, actually. It has rituals like the tasting rituals. It has practices, it has incredible aesthetics with the beautiful landscapes, the incredible, wine houses and canteens where the wine is grown and produced, the restaurants associated with it, has great deep culture. But there's one main difference. Wine has never been forgotten, or at least the world has grown with wine always by its side. Japanese green tea has not been always brought forward, and another form of tea has branched out more in the Western world, which is more the black tea, thanks to the English and the British colonies. And the Japanese green tea has always remained very isolated to its world. And when you think of it, now that also even Japanese architects are becoming really popular, and the Japanese aesthetic is becoming very popular because of its, minimalistic, natural, space-oriented feel. However, when they do approach the topic of Japanese green tea and maybe the tea houses, it's always the tea aspect is very much always preserved. The tatami, the spaces, the tools, all of it is preserved, and everything else around it is renewed, it's designed, and it's made contemporary. I think we can go a step further. So when you look at the world of Japanese green tea, it has always been consumed traditionally with teapots, ceramic mugs, and you name it, the usual tools, which warm water, which always make it beautiful and so charming when you're in Japan, in the nature, in the forest, in the woods, in a Japanese style house. But when you're trying to readapt it to modern contemporary society, it becomes a little bit complicated. The tea world also in itself has a bit of a stigma of, just tea bags being a cheap product and being something as, like a quick go-to when in certain situations when you just want something that's not coffee. However, there is a world out there. So what is this new category of professionals? The tea designer. Now, what does the tea designer take care of? It's basically, I think, the bridge between the Japanese green tea culture and the Western modern society culture, which helps look at the whole of Japanese green tea, not only matcha culture and its sweets and its lattes and then its derivatives, which Americans have already done in so many shapes and forms, and they've done an amazing job at, honestly. But there's so much more to this world. The tranquility, the mindfulness, the moments of relaxation, meditation, and where you can kind of center yourself, and the great flavor of tea you can drink, which 90% is still probably undiscovered. But somebody needs to, open the eyes and research and understand that, try different methods and explain to these professionals and to other realities and environments that these methods exist, taste it, try it, we can tweak it, give me your feedback, and this whole back and forth dialogue needs to happen. That, I think, may be the role of a tea designer. So, who better than me to try to go on this adventure? I actually believe in this so much. Sencha House, the company just started 2 years ago. I've shifted the whole direction of the company towards this because I believe in this path so much. I'm gonna follow this journey, and this YouTube channel is basically probably going to become the documentation of this journey in its professional and also in its maybe non-professional aspects as well. So if you're curious about knowing how this journey goes, like, subscribe, and We'll see you soon. Ciao. どうも。またね。